Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Caught Stealing. And this movie came out in 2025. And this movie is directed by Darren Aronofsky, who's made some pretty fantastic movies that I really love. Some of those being Requiem for a Dream, which I need to rewatch, but I remember really loving, and Black Swan in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. Actually, I think it's in the top 5. Really loved that movie. Immediately fell in love with it the first time I saw it, and naturally, I'm always curious to see what he does next. And of course, he's made other great stuff like The Wrestler, The Whale, and some stuff that I found to be really enjoyable. And this one I thought was good. I liked it a decent amount. It was very different from him because I'm not really used to a thriller, I guess, a crime thriller from him, but it worked, and it did kind of feel like a studio movie that he was making, like a mid-budget studio film that cost 40 million to make, I believe. And sadly, it only grossed about 32 million, so it wasn't exactly what they were hoping for, but it was still good, and I enjoyed it. And this movie had a really good cast, and I enjoyed the performances for the most part. And there were moments in which it was really fun, like the action scenes were fun. And it's basically just a chase and nothing more. But that's all it really needs to be. And I do like watching the main character's journey. He's kind of fun to watch, and he does do some questionable things along the way that I just personally wouldn't agree with, and it kind of bugged me. Like, why aren't you making decisions that are a bit smarter? But it also does kind of establish that he is kind of an idiot and does stuff that would probably be questionable. And even if it's in service of just set up things for the plot to happen, it's a bit more excusable in this movie for sure because of what they set up. And the movie looked very nice, and it was well directed overall, and it's just a nice, enjoyable film that knows how to deliver a fun thriller. And if that's the type of movie you're looking for, then this is going to be for you. And I didn't love this movie by the end of the day. And what was kind of preventing me from loving it fully were a few aspects to it. Like, there were parts of it that were overused, like the music. I just felt as though it could have had more room to breathe, and I wasn't able to soak in what was going on. And there was a flashback that was happening multiple times. And if it just cut back to it like once, possibly twice, I would have been fine with that. But it kept cutting back to it a few times. And I was like, okay, this is a little unnecessary at this point. And there was some comedy that didn't really work for me, and just came across as somewhat forced. But in the second half, it worked a bit better for me. I'm not sure as to why that was the case, but that's what happened. And I wasn't really big on the antagonist characters, really. I just didn't really find them intimidating, and there were directions in which the plot went down that I didn't care for. And I just found it to be kind of predictable and just not really overall a film that connected with me plot-wise. And there was one aspect that was happening to the main character in which, in any other Aronofsky film, that would be like a central part about the character and would constantly affect them more and more and more as the movie goes along. But it just feels like, oh, that happened, and a character has to deal with that. And it doesn't really feel like it's being brought up all that much, and it doesn't really matter too much either. And I'm also kind of uncertain as to why this movie was set in 1998. I'm sure there's like some deeper meaning behind it, and if I were to rewatch it a few times, maybe I would get more out of it as to why it's set in that time period. But for most of it, it just kind of felt like, oh, it was just done that way because they just felt like it. And there were also some themes in this movie that were kind of repetitive and were coming across as though the movie was beating me over the head with it. But for the most part, it was good. There are issues for sure that I have with it, and it's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. But still, I think there are more positives in this movie than negatives, even though I have a decent amount of critiques with it. I wasn't really bored while watching it, and I could come back to this. And it's currently on Netflix if you want to check it out, and I think it's a good movie. So Definitely check this movie out whenever you get the chance. It's not one of my favorite Aronofsky films, but still worth watching. And with all that being said, I'm going to give Caught Stealing a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Caught Stealing, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for... Oh. Hi. That's how I'm going to say it. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.